Hello, everyone. Welcome to this online panel. Today, we have an interesting topic to discuss about, which is how to manage, how to balance pressure and in our daily lives when we're talking about academic life and self-care. For that purpose, we have invited some speakers that are currently studying but also working. So they are going to talk about their experiences, their perspectives about this topic. They are Carla Crispin, Vania Tardillo, Roy Mercruz, Lucia Fernandez, and Brian Quispe. They are glad to be here, and we're going to start directly with the first question because something we would like to know is how do they balance these academic responsibilities, classes, duties with their personal lives and self-care? Who would like to start?
Well, good morning, everyone. I would like to answer this first question. Well, personally, I think that having a good balance is not only about the time, it's only to try to organize many activities in your life, especially in your mental health, like as a professional and also as students. In my case, I try to keep a good balance between my studies and my personal life. I try to use different methods or strategies, especially maybe in my case, I incorporate the use of agenda and planning. I try to write down all my assignments, my classes, and the personal professional activities that I need to do maybe in this week. Then I think that they help me to focus on try to organize this kind of activities day by day, and also try to include another activities that maybe help me. For example, I like to go to the gym because it's a good way to reduce the stress and incorporate good habits in your life. Eh, yes, that's right.
Thanks a bunch, Vania. Who would like to continue?
Well, I totally agree with you, Vanya. You use an agenda, but in my case, I use a digital calendar. It's quite similar. So this is how I balance my academic responsibilities with my personal life and also with my self-care. I start being very serious about planning. As I said, I use a digital calendar to map out my entire week, blocking off specific times for study and for working and to complete all my assignments. So I learned that self-care isn't a luxury. It was it keeps me running efficiently. So I plan for things like my exercise routines and also spend time with friends. It's important. I make sure I get at least 7 hours or six for sleep every night to have my mental clear. And the key for me is setting firm boundaries. When I'm studying, I block all my cell phones, all my social media. And also when I design in personal time starts, I completely away from my books and emails and all of kind of these things. This is the way I can fully commit to each part of my life without feeling guilty or burning out.
Very interesting that perspective you're sharing with us. What about a gentleman? I know which of you would like to present your perspective.
Well, good morning, everyone. I totally agree with you because you use different techniques how to you balance your academic responsibility with life and self-care. Well, about me, I keep a good balance by organizing my time carefully, being disciplined as well my routines. Because since I studied work at the same time, I know it's management has become one of the main priorities. Well, I designed it, I make it a weekly schedule in Excel that includes everything, as my teaching hours, my class planning, university assignments, I study sessions as well, and even the personal activities such as dinner, exercise, and rest. After creating this, I print it out. I keep it on my desk or even in my near my bed in order to have a daily guide. Obviously, this schedule helps me a lot to be focused on and avoid procrastination, because I divided my study, my hours, my day. So when I complete my task step by step, instead of doing something different. Even though I know it's something studying and working at the same time is something very hard, but I always try to respect my personal time. Or even though I always have to make a balance as well, because, for example, I always finish all my activities at 11 or even half past 10. When I complete all of that, I stop working or some activities. After that, I try to rest or even try to relax watching another videos in order to try to rest or take a rest before sleeping. No? So I think in my personal experience about this, maintaining these routines has allowed to have a very productive and reduce stress and take care about mental health as well. No? Obviously, it's not everything is easy because it's I've learned to have a balance, right? Because it is very important to have some prioritize and giving yourself time and rest when it's needed.
Yeah, organization, that I think is the main idea through your comments, is the key, right? To organize, to be organized virtually or physically. Thank you, guys. So it's time to jump into the second question. And here we would like to know, what are those challenges you have faced when you were when you were looking for this balance? Who would like to start with this question?
Well, I think the biggest challenge I face when I'm trying to balance my school, my work, personal life, and self-care is time conflict. First, there is the feeling that, in my case, there's a simple not enough time in the day. For example, my academic responsibilities sometimes feel endless, especially when I have several assignments or exams coming up at the same time. This pressure makes me want to drop everything else and just work, which is when my self-care, like exercising or getting enough sleep. Another factor is the major hurdle is feeling of guilt. When I've decided to step away from my work or my textbooks to relax or spend time with friends, I hear a little voice in my head saying I should be studying instead. This makes me personal time less restful because I'm not fully present. And finally, distractions are a constant challenge. Even when I set aside time, especially for studying, it's easy to lose focus and spend time on my phone or social media. That lost time has to be stolen from my personal life or sleep later on. This is all my challenges that I find when I try to balance my time.
Well, sure, there are plenty of distractions everywhere nowadays. Well, for me, procrastination is definitely my biggest enemy and my biggest challenge because I tend to delay my task. And when I finally start working, I feel a lot of time pressure, especially if I have several deadlines at the same time. So, in those moments, it becomes really hard to stay calm or focus. But I'm aware that leaving things for the last minute is the worst thing that I could do. And it only makes my stress worse. But it's a bad habit that I'm still trying to overcome and improve little by little.
Yeah. Well, for me, what about me is something very similar about what challenges I face now. Because as you mentioned, many of them, because we have different responsibilities, even when we work and study at the same time. So, well, one of the biggest challenges for me is that it has definitely been dealing with a lack of time. As you, some of you mentioned, both being a teacher and a university student, I constantly face with time schedules, lesson planning, grading, and academic deadlines because we have different activities and assignments to complete, no, and finish. So sometimes I sometimes come home, for example, when I go to university very late because some of the courses the ending is 10:45, no, but I still have to prepare materials as well for my because I work at the school, no, for even though when it's at the end of the cycle, so every single practice we have to study as well. So this routine can be exhausting, because some of the courses as well is at the weekends. So on the weekends, I often leave a little room, but I try to say self-care as well. Because of that, I sometimes neglect my physical health because, as I mentioned, I don't exercise regularly. I used to go in the past to play with my friends at the weekend because nowadays I'm so busy. So this is something very complicated for me. Obviously, the sedentary lifestyle as well made me realize how important it is to balance productively and well-being. So, but over time, I've learned to manage this pressure by setting some realistic goals and prioritizing what truly matters each day. Obviously, it's very important as well. I always try to respect my limits. Taking short breaks, between activities, and listen to music. I think is very important. Having a cup of tea as well and helps me to have a clear mind. Yeah. On weekends I make my times. I go for a walk in the park. When I have some free time, I spend time with my family, or I simply disconnected or from the screens. This is that helps me a lot.
So we can see that challenges come from different sides, internal and external. Interesting. The third question here that we present here is, how is your university supporting you in this process? Are there some workshops, some activities, some people that supports you? If so, how?
Okay, interesting question, Angela. Well, I think that my university offer us a different type of support elements, not only in academic aspect. One thing that I would like to mention is that my university supports students by creating a positive and motivating environment, especially because we live day by day different activities, and maybe it's part of the question that you mentioned, the challenge maybe we'll face in this process. Because personally, I think that I received different support, especially maybe my teachers, because they all are understanding when a student face difficulties, and maybe when we need some advice, or maybe how to manage time, especially when we have a deadline, they can provide some chance or opportunities. That I think that this is a good mm, uh, that is a good element when you are studying in the university. Another thing that I would like to mention is that university also organize some workshops or events that may with group of students, that maybe this is a good space to relax or connect with others. Particularly, I try to participate in some events or dance events. I think it's a good ways to manage and reduce stress and feel more relaxed in this process.
Okay, so building on my partner's point, I believe that, like she said, it depends a lot on the teacher because some of them are definitely more supportive than others. However, this university does provide us with flexible online platforms where we can just organize our assignments and stay in contact with our professors. So, as long as I stay responsible, submit my work on time, and just maintain a healthy communication, I feel like I'm able to manage all my personal life quite well. And I also believe that the key is to take advantage of those resources that are free for us and not wait until the last minute to ask for help or clarification.
Yes, Vanya and Lucia, let me tell you that I totally agree with what you said. I'm a college student. I study at UCL, and what I have noticed is that UCL provides strong this technical support that is actually enhancing our learning experience. For example, we have these virtual platforms that is Zoom, sorry, Canvas. We also have these online resources, the one that we are using now, Zoom, and well-structured digital classes. And doing this, the university ensures that everybody can access a high quality education anytime and anywhere. And yes, and when I say that, I mean that, and this is helping us a lot to reduce the stress, not to worry about traffic. You know, sometimes to go to university can be kind of difficult if you're living in a remote place. So now we can access these classes anywhere. So this learning management system is user friendly and allows us to access also the study materials. Yeah, so we don't have to suffer to get the materials. I mean, we have everything there. We can also submit assignments, as Lucia said. Yes, making our lives really easy, and we do not complicate it that much. We can also communicate with our teachers, yes, and we can get also like feedback, like the feedback right away. Just once we submit our assignments, the feedback can be there just by the teachers checking. So in addition, there are more things this university offers. For example, like tools for discussions. Yeah, any questions we have, we can also ask teachers. Yes, we can do this like interactively. And as I said, there is real feedback. And doing this, actually, this having all of this motivates collaboration and active participation. Yes, among the students and also between the student and teacher. Yes. Personally speaking, all these features make my learning process more dynamic, organized, efficient. Yes, and help, and all those things I mentioned help me stay motivated. Yes, connected, even in the virtual learning environment. Yes, and without um, facing stress. Yes, that much.
Quite interesting because you three guys mentioned different aspects how you feel supported by your university, and this external support is quite important for sure. We're close to the end, and the last question is I'm gonna, I would like to know what are some of these best tools or methods that you usually apply, put into practice when managing this pressure. Let's make like a top five, and perhaps we can include any other ideas there. Who would like to start?
Well, in my case, using a digital calendar, I think it's a good tool for me because I can manage the heavy pressure of my career, my work, and maintain the balance in my life. Because I really own it because it provides a single and a visual map of every commitment, which immediately reduces my mental stress by getting all my tasks and deadlines out of my head onto the screen. And also, it's easy to access it anywhere, and set up automated reminder means I never miss a critical deadline or appointment, and eliminating the anxiety of last minute rushing and giving me a powerful sense of control over a schedule that often feels overwhelming.
Nice. Well, following my partner's idea, yes, managing pressure is important for students. Um, but also it's find a good balance between our life and in different aspects, academic, professional life. Well, in my case, a good method or tool that I try to apply in my life is I usually go to the gym. Uh, I think that this is a good uh, habit to deal with my stress, because when I am doing my exercise, I can disconnect maybe from some activities like my academic responsibilities, my job, and try to focus on myself during this time. When I consider this time in when I go to the gym, I try to realize the tension. I clear my mind, because I think that this is a good way to renew some ideas or aspect in my life. I try to consider this time that relax, and then I will focus one more time to do my exercise or activities that I need to. If I need to recommend my best tool is to go to the gym. It's important to consider to make some activities that promote not only the health in your body, also in your mind. Thank you.
Well, those are nice points you made, guys. Without a doubt, digital calendar and going to the gym are effective ways, right, to manage pressure. Yeah, and another tool, another strategy that came to my mind is that a technique that is called mindfulness and breathing. Yes, this is well, those are powerful strategies for managing stress and anxiety, especially in these academic environments. Yes, the ones we are facing, right? Because there is a lot of stress going on, and this technique, mindfulness and breathing, allows us to calm, yes, to calm our minds, yes, especially before an exam, yes, and focus on the present moments. Doing this, we can reduce negative emotions. We can stop thinking about negative things or negative things that are in our minds going to happen. Yes. Well, these techniques can actually and easily be incorporated into our daily life in routines. Just for example, as I said, right, we can meditate like before an exam, we can breathe in and out. Yes, we can also download these apps that are called Calm or Headspace, and we can practice like we can do this meditation like for 10 minutes a day or 5 minutes a day. By doing this, we can be ready for another presentation or a test that we are going to have. Yes.
I really like your point. In fact, I also include mindfulness techniques in my daily life. And I would also like to add that for me, being with my friends is crucial because it really helps me to relax and disconnect from any kind of stress. Whenever I spend time with them, whether it's just talking, laughing, or going out, going to the park, anywhere, I immediately feel lighter and more supported. It really gives me a mental break and reminds me that life isn't only about my job, my deadlines, or my assignments. So, having that emotional support system makes a big difference in how I manage pressure. That is why I totally believe and I recommend you that it's essential to surround yourself with good friends who have good habits that help you grow because the people around you can strongly influence your mindset and your motivation.
Okay, well, regarding all your points and your tools are amazing. Yeah. So just I would like to add another important tool I think is put your cell phones away now. I know is having a cell phone nowadays is so essential and so crucial because obviously we have to get in touch, even we have to work with our assignments or whatever, no? However, how important is to put your cell phones or for away for maybe for 1 hour. It's depend on us how it's gonna be or because when you put your cell phone away, it helps you a lot to focus better because um, it's reduce distractions, as you know, from notifications and social media. This allows to concentrate more deeply in your studies and your tasks, no? Which helps you to finish faster and which better quality as well. Because every single notification we have on your cell phones, or even you have to enjoy social media, no, to see the comments or even photos or reels. So as well, another point is it reduces anxiety, stress, because constant message, alerts, notifications, even comparisons on social media. Because uh, imagine having an assignment at university. Imagine that you have to even you we work to plan a lesson. After that, maybe somebody you enjoy to social media, somebody posted something bad comments, you are gonna be more stressed, no? How you imagine. So it's important in reduce obviously and helps you to increase mental health, right? Another thing is I consider is when you put cell phones as well, it improves time management because uh, during your study, maybe we don't have enough time. We have to manage your time, no? Even for another thing, or relaxing or sleep. And finally, I consider very important because most of us know we have the self before sleeping. Okay, within our minds, we say, okay, we're gonna rest. However, when we go to bed, we are resting, but we are checking social media or some videos. Many experts nowadays say that is not healthy because how important is before 1 hour go to the bed is put your cell phones away and do it something another interesting activities. Most of the experts recommend reading, no? Instead of watching videos in ourselves. So this is my suggestion. I think I know it's going to be hard nowadays because we can't keep our cell phone in our hands all the time, but it will be very useful for us.
How interesting, guys. Each point, each tool that you mentioned to create this top five, since digital calendar, going to the gym, including these techniques of mindfulness and breathing, hanging out with friends, and also putting our phones away. Something challenging, as you mentioned, Royme, but with some effort, it is possible. From my side, I would like to include an extra bonus perhaps to this top five. And I really love traveling. So the way I manage my daily pressure is when I organize some traveling schedules with my friends. And that's something I really appreciate. the previous activity, when I'm arranging that, and also the trip itself. So one more time, thanks guys, because you are part of this dialogue, of this panel. Your experience and perspectives are quite interesting. And see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right. See you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.